kind of explain the thought process on letting it ride?
Yeah, multiple reasons. In transition, I thought we had a chance to get an open three. Numbers were going the other way. Traditionally, they foul up three. I thought we'd get the best opportunity. I thought CB was open when he caught it to shoot it. And then obviously off the offensive rebound, my first instinct was to call timeout, but the ball came to Nikola. And I did not think we could get him a good catch if they're going to foul. And if I call the timeout, then we have none left after that. So it's a tough situation. When you get runouts like that, a lot of times in our league with guys falling down and the numbers, you can find a three that way. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Looking back, if I watch the film, watch the tape, I have to see what the situation was. On CB's catch, once he didn't shoot it, I could have called it. Maybe that's the one thing I look back on, wondering, maybe I should have called it there.
Coach, when you look at it got to be a physical game at different points. Did you think that affected Nikola? He uncharacteristically 7 turnovers.
Yeah.
Did that play a part in it, or did you feel like the way that game was unfolding, that was the way they were playing, defended him, and the game was being called affected him?
Maybe. I thought their defensive rotations were good. We had to look back at our spacing. I didn't think our spacing, on the backside was good enough to take advantage of them bringing 3-4 people across the court. If they're going to do that, we have to find the open man on the weak side and take advantage of it. I didn't think we did that enough. And they zoned up the backside. Kawhi made a big play at the end, getting a steal. So, again, you look back at the tape. They made adjustments. We have to do the same thing, make sure we get him in space properly. We had a lot of good looks, too, and you can't miss 8 free throws in games like this. That was a killer. And, obviously, the points off turnovers, just like in Game 1, we won that battle, and tonight they won that battle. And, games like this that grind – and the possessions are so tough, those easy baskets going the other way are such a killer. We had the loose ball turnover towards the end. Just seemed like every time we got back in it, tied it, took the lead, a multitude of mistakes would follow that. And once you have momentum, you can't have mistakes like that, get them right back to where they were before, up 3, up 5, up 6. Just felt like it was uphill all night.
What did you see from Kawhi tonight?
He was incredible. It was one of those things, too. He had 39, and shot the ball so efficiently, but they only scored 105 points. And so it was a tough, if we come and get him and Norman gets going, you're rotating to James now in a closeout. And so you're playing a tough game there, because if you make a decision to go hit him, you are saying, open shots are somewhere. But to his credit, over contested hands, made some incredible shots. We know what he is. He's an all-time player. But another thing, we have to watch the film and say, hey, how can we do better? We can do better than that. But to his credit, I give, he was awesome tonight.
Your take on MPJ and his physical nature and going to the boards?
Yeah, he was better tonight. And he hit a huge 3 to tie it. We were trying to sneak him back out after the timeout play. Obviously Michael really stretches the floor in the way that they were guarding, bringing 3 and 4 people to one side of the court. We have to find a way to make Mike an impact player in those situations if they're willing to leave and rotate, and we can do better. Looking at the tape, I thought we did a better job in Game 1, and, in Game 2, they made adjustments, and we have to look at it and find a way to make Mike an impactful player if that's how they're going to guard.
David, how much does it hurt just losing home court advantage, leaving here 1-1 instead of 2-0?
I thought this series would be like this. Both really good teams. We both, throughout the season, had ups and downs, but now we're both healthy and going at it. I know how good of a team they are, and I think we can go down there and win. I really do. And the series always felt like it was going to be like this. Both games were such a grind. I'm sure they're sitting there saying, we should have won Game 1, and we'll probably watch a tape and go, man, we had a chance to win Game 2. And so that's what it's going to be like. And we have to bring our focus, be connected, take the day tomorrow to get mentally right, physically right, prepare, fly to LA and get a win.
DA, on your right here, I know it might be nitpicking and he went 4 of 8 from 3, but is Joker passing up threes that you maybe wish he would take instead of getting into the action that way?
Yeah, we'll watch the tape with him. I think sometimes when he drives and kicks, it leads to easy baskets, wide open looks from 3 for other people. And to their credit, when he drove it, they did a good job of bringing people, but also zoning up passing lanes. And, he's a professional, as professional as it gets in our league. So he'll watch the tape just like we do. And if he feels like to win the next game, he's got to take more shots. I know he will. But again, he had a triple-double. It was it flipped the script. Kawhi had 7 mistakes last game. Nikola did this game with all the different defenses being thrown at both players. So we'll help him, see the tape so he can play in space better and make the decisions he wants to make.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, what went into your decision to play Nikola the entire second half?
Yeah, we started the fourth, and I asked him, how he was feeling. The original plan was to play in the first couple minutes of the fourth, first 2 or 3 minutes, get him out to finish. But we made a run, and the intensity was high, and it felt like that group had a lot to give, rest defensively. And it was the same thing with Christian. I brought Christian in later than I wanted to, but that group was rolling a little bit, and then Mike came in for Peyton and, made an impact offensively. So it just didn't feel right to take him out. Obviously, there's communication going on with him. Where you at? How you feeling? Same thing with Aaron, running in that whole quarter. So it just felt like that kind of game, man. Like we had a chance right there. I didn't want to take him out. They go on a 6-0 run. Now I'm calling timeout. I got 1 left with 6 minutes to go. So it just was a feel thing for me.
Coach, do you feel now that you've seen them twice, the Clippers, and know what they can present, does it make it a little bit easier in a way for the game 3 that some of their strategies and know how to prepare for them?
Yeah, for sure. And I think on the flip side of that is, hey, what worked in game 1 didn't work in game 2 for us in certain ways. And we have to take a look at that and not necessarily change everything, but just do it better. So everybody, across the board, stay connected, watch the film. We have 2 days to prepare for a big game, game 3. So, yeah, I think both teams will feel like that. We've both seen a lot of things we're trying to accomplish out there. But, man, I just have extreme confidence in the group. And like I've been saying, since I took over this thing, just stay connected, ups and downs. We're going to see a lot of different things in the playoffs. This is a high level series, and we knew that coming in, and I'm excited for game 3.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, Jamal, they said on the maybe on the TV broadcast that you were dealing with some sort of illness. You don't look like you're feeling great, and that's why you're in the sleeves. How are you feeling, and I guess how hard was it to push through whatever you're fighting?
I played through it. It was cool. I'm sick, but it's okay. No excuses. I played through it.
Jamal, the late game execution from you guys, just a couple of missed opportunities. What did you see out there?
Just exactly that. I felt like when we got a stop, we just had a couple missed opportunities. Even when I almost turned it over, I think AG missed a dunk because he was looking at the shot clock. Got a stop. Mike turned over. Like those ones really hurt. And I think I had a turnover somewhere in there. We just got to take care of the ball, especially when we get a stop. You can't give it right back. But we definitely had a chance to win the game. So now our mind switched, and we got to go to LA with an attack mindset and get one of these games.
You feel like it'll continue to be physical, and can you just kind of describe what happened with you and Norman there, where you
Just competing, man. I have nothing against Norman, man. He has nothing against me. We're just competing, and we got into it for a second. Well, we're good though.
But do you feel like that's kind of the nature of this series? It's just going to be like that?
No, I mean, any series, if you can look at any basketball that's been played in the playoffs, it's going to be like that. And like I said, we have nothing against each other. We respect each other, and we just didn't like what we both did on the court, and that's fair.
You guys have faced Kawhi before in the bubble and obviously several years. Just when he gets kind of into that mode where he's making contested shots, just is there anything that can be done just in a one-on-one sense to kind of disrupt him like that?
Yeah, just kind of give him give him a different look, and not let him get to his spots. That's really what the game is about, just getting to your spots. And tonight he got to spots, and even when we're there, he made some tough shots, and that's what great players do. So he had a night. He got going, and he was tough to stop along the stretch. But like I said, we had chances to ice the game, win the game, stretch the lead to 10, even before the fourth last couple of minutes. So this loss kind of feels like it was on us. Given the opportunities that we missed, everybody.
Just 20 turnovers as a team. They had 20 turnovers on their side. Just it feels like it's going to go back and forth between you guys. Just you knew how competitive this thing was going to happen, like just execution-wise. Just how important is it for every single possession kind of to value the basketball?
Very important.
Jamal, we obviously saw a lot more from Mike tonight. How good was that? Obviously, maybe got a little shaken up at the end, but to see him come in and have such a big impact.
100%. I'm not really worried about Mike, man. He's going to compete. He's always going to bounce back. He's always going to take that personal, whatever y'all were talking about. So he came in, he made an impact. He was grabbing boards, he was talking, he was just more committed, and he hit a couple big shots, big rebounds, and stuff like that. So I thought he played great. Just would have felt a lot better if we came out with the dub. So, but we didn't.
Jamal, you guys have been really good on the road the last couple of years in the playoffs. What type of mentality do you guys need to bring to LA?
Same kind of mentality. Just got to hit first and play fast and play with some confidence. You know what I'm saying? Kind of take the life out of the gym. We're just going to go out there and play hard. That's what the game's about. Like I said, the stat sheet. Everybody misses shots and stuff like that, whatever. But just playing hard is not on the stat sheet. So I think if we just do that, play physical, and like I said, be confident on the road, we can replicate what we've done in past years and get the job done.
His performance tonight. What did you think of all he gave you guys, especially after Norm hit the three, they called a timeout, and he looked gassed, but he still kept going.
Yeah, I mean, this is what Kawhi lives for, trying to get to this point where he's healthy for the playoffs. And we know if we got a healthy Kawhi, we can win any series. And that just shows you tonight, what he's capable of doing. I think the week layoff kind of hurt him a little bit, I think, for game one. I think, when he's off for a little bit, he has a slow start. But tonight, like I said, we needed every bit of it. We had some guys gut through a couple of things, a couple of knick-knack injuries, but those guys stayed and they played, they stayed with it. And I'm just, proud of our team. Just, get down big, to come back and fight. Couple calls didn't go our way, but we stayed with it. We stayed poised. And for me, it was just the mentality, like I said, at halftime, what got us back in the game was the grit and the grind. It wasn't making shots. It's get your ass back in transition, guard the basketball, be physical, and everything else is going to take care of itself. And so, like I said, Norm hit some big shots down the stretch. KD with a big offensive rebound. But like I said, just a total team effort, and that's who we got to be every night.
Hi, speaking of Norm, he hit 3 shots in the fourth. He struggled throughout the entire series up until that point. Do you think this can be a turning point for him, where now he can kind of use it to propel himself for the rest of the series?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he has the mentality. If he misses a shot, he's not worried about the next. He's taking it, and that's just who he is. And he puts too much work in every single day not to play well, not to shoot the ball well. And so when he wasn't shooting the ball well, he came up with two big stops, got a steal, I think. So just doing other things. If you're not going to score the basketball, if you're struggling to score, what else can you bring to the team? And that's our mentality. You got to bring something every night. And I thought Norm did that tonight, even though he didn't make shots early.
Coach, Saturday you had 20 turnovers. They had 11. Tonight that was flipped. Just what changed for you?
We still have some bad turnovers, like some unforced turnovers. Like, we got to be better. We understand they're going to play different defenses, but to me, if we just take our time and we're executing, we can get any shot we want, and we feel like that. And so, not getting bored with the process. Coach Adelman did a great job making adjustments. He's doing a really good job. And so it's going to be a back and forth, like I said, chess match. And so for first time coaching in the playoffs as the head coach, he's doing a really good job. And so, we just got to keep fighting, keep competing. We know we're dealing with the best player in the world right now. Just got to keep showing different coverages and keep going.
You were able to get Ben in there early first half, early second half. Yeah. How'd you like that particular adjustment? What did you feel like it did, not just for Ben, but especially for your team?
It was good for us. No, it was good for us. Like, we talked about it. I talked to Ben today, this morning, just told him what I was going to try to change up and try to force their hand, and it worked tonight. So we'll see going forward what happens.
Ty, Can you talk about just what it takes for Kawhi to get back in position to have a game like tonight? I mean, we all ask you every single game when he's out, when is he coming back, how's he doing, what's he able to do, and that you can't say that much, but obviously he's doing a lot behind the scenes to be able to have a kind of game like he did tonight.
Yeah, just the hard work. Every time someone gives up on him, he comes back. And so, he's a hard worker. He's dedicated, like I said, to keeping his body right. And sometimes you just, some unfortunate things happen. You can't control that, but it's not from a lack of work. It's not from a lack of wanting to be here. And just sometimes some bad luck hits, but he's going to keep coming back, and he's going to get to this point like he is right now. And that's why I'm just so happy for him.
Ty, you talked about, Zoo pre-game guarding Nikola Jokic, but obviously sent a ton of bodies at him today. 7 turnovers, looked a little bit uncomfortable at times. What does it take just to guard Nikola Jokic, and how did that go today?
It takes a lot. Like I said, I think Coach Adelman is doing a great job of just putting him in different spots, different positions. And for a 7-footer like Zoo to have to navigate through pin downs and away screens, and it's tough. It's tough. You have a 7-foot guard. He can put the ball on the floor. He's one of the best passers in the world. He can shoot threes. He can shoot floaters. He can post smaller guys. It's just a tough cover. And so we just got to do whatever we can to try to keep him off balance and just give him different looks.
You had to call a timeout on that sideline when James kind of got jammed up. And I want to know just from your perspective more about that play out of the timeout. Kawhi hits that jumper, and then the defense where Kawhi winds up getting a steal. Like, what else did you tell your team, to set up that sequence?
No, we got 11 seconds on the shot clock. This is what we're running. Kawhi get a basket, and let's get a stop, and we win this game. And our team went down and did it. So just staying poised down the stretch, understanding how we want to execute, and did a good job of doing that.
Coach, nice job today. I guess Norman Powell and Jamal Murray kind of had that dust up a little. How did you think your team responded after that?
I thought we responded well. I thought we responded well. Actually kind of got Norm going. He made 3 shots, after that. But it just, like I said, Jamal just said, just competing. It wasn't anything dirty, just playing hard, competing. And when you're in the playoffs, if things like this don't happen, then I don't know if you're playing hard enough. So it's going to happen.
Ty, yesterday you said you wanted to get Kawhi into attack mode. Obviously he did that tonight, but how do you get him into that mode without other guys, I guess, just getting lost in the flow of the game?
Nobody getting lost. Norm had 14 shots. James had 17. Zoo did what he did. And, our best player, if he's going like that, we're going to continue to feed him. And so guys are getting their shots. All the guys understand their roles and when shots are going to come, and they have no problem with that. So I don't think guys got lost. I thought Kawhi willed us to a win.
Ty, Jamal kind of got going throughout the night, but it seemed like Chris never let up with his effort on him. Just kind of how impressed were you with what he was able to do on Jamal tonight constantly throughout the game?
Another tough cover. You got a guy who can score at all 3 levels, constant movement. And KD, like I said, just keeps fighting and keeps competing. Jamal makes a tough 3, tough floater. He just keeps coming back. And like I said, came up with a big steal at the end of the game, and then also came up with a big offensive rebound that we scored on as well. So, taking on KD's personality, that's who we got to be. And so he brings that toughness for us every night. Thank you, guys.
I think you had 3 turnovers in the first quarter, only 1 for the rest of the game. Like, how did you just navigate that part of the game, taking care of the ball, and facilitating this offense as it went along?
Still got to be better. Like the turnovers that I got weren't that's all on me, especially that last one. I think we go up 3, we get a big stop, and we had numbers. I tried to advance. It was the right play. I just got to, complete the pass, and then, it's a layup or a 3. So, still got to be better in that sense. But overall, it's a good fight, man. It's a tough team, tough environment. You just stuck with it. So, big time win for us.
James, this is your second year playing with Kawhi. What impressed you the most about him tonight?
You said what impressed me?
Tonight.
Shit, that's. I don't think I feel like he ain't missed a shot. I feel like he ain't missed a shot, man. His shot-making ability is elite. And, that's the aggressiveness that we need from him. You know what I mean? No matter what's going on, no matter who's guarding him, he just got to his spot and raised up. So, it's, big time player. He played big time tonight.
James, what do you see from like he does so much behind the scenes trying to get ready for this time of year, trying to get his body right, and a lot of times we'll always ask about it, and we don't really understand everything he's doing other than he's working. Do you see some of what he does behind the scenes, all the hard work he puts in, and how would you describe what he does?
Every single day. Like it's the preparation, it's like the treatment, it's the strengthening, of his body, it's the correctives, and then it's the like going on court and putting it all together. And it's consistently every single day. And luck hasn't been on his side or whatever case you might call it, but he loves the hoop. And as you see, like when he's on the court, he's a killer. So, I'm glad he's in a good space right now.
James, just wanted to follow up. We asked you about the 5 fouls from game one. You said you figured it out. You only had one today, and you still had some of the same answers. You was on Aaron plenty. Like, how did you figure that out? How did you navigate that and still stay on the court for 38?
I usually don't just get 5 fouls, so I'm just not a hack. So it was just one of those games you had to navigate and figure out how to stay on the court, but still be aggressive and still be smart. So I don't know. Tonight, I had some shot opportunities, and Kawhi had it going. And so you just at that point you just sit back and you figure out how can you impact the game or whatnot. So it was a big time game, man. Like Norm made some big time shots in that fourth quarter. Zoo, Katie, some offensive rebounds. Like it was a team effort, and in the postseason it don't really matter, as long as you come away with the win. So we got a couple days off and we're ready for the into it.
James, Nikola had a triple-double, but you guys forced him into 7 turnovers. What did you guys do well to kind of maybe neutralize him a little bit, as much as you can?
Tough cover, like extremely tough cover. He's very, very skilled. His passing ability, his scoring ability. You put it big on him. I think Zoo did an unbelievable job, but you put it big on him. He steps back and shoots threes and, post up and his passing ability. So just trying to make it difficult on him, man. Like we swarm him. We just try to be smart because obviously if you just run at him, he's going to pick you apart. So tough cover. I think, the last 2 games we did a pretty solid job, even though he had a triple-double. He's going to get his just because he's that good. But I think we did a really good job on him last 2 games. So we got to be even better for, the next, few games in order for us to be successful.
James, going back to Kawhi for a second, obviously he has the night that he did tonight, but you've been around him, for almost 2 years now. His career, the stop and start nature, all the things he's gone through. Do you think, and he keeps coming back, do you think he gets the appreciation from people for what he's endured and coming back from?
No, not even a little bit. It's always negative. It's always, what he's been through and what he's not able to do just because of something that he can't control. But we don't appreciate how great he is when he's actually out there and putting on performances like this tonight. I feel like that about everybody that, is in the league that goes through something that, that's out of their hands or they can't control. It's like it's always the negative. It's always the hate that people want to talk about, which is something that we got to live with, I guess, in this world. But as for me being closer to him, every single day and seeing the work that he puts in and you appreciate him.
James, you mentioned you guys are heading back to Intuit Dome. What's the level of excitement to play the first ever playoff game in that building, especially given that you guys were able to tie the series up and bring a 1-1 series back home?
I expect it to be rocking in there. I expect it to be, very, very loud and like it's always been all year and, us to go out there and put on a show. But, it's the playoffs. It's my 16th year being here, so you understand what you're up against. You understand that just because you're going back home, it's not going to be easy or it's not guaranteed to win. And, for us, playing against this very good Denver Nuggets team, it's just even kill. We lose last game, we didn't get too low. We win tonight, we didn't get too high. It's just, the series could have easily been, 0-2. We could have been down, or it could have been 2-0. We could have been up, And we understand that. So going back home, it's, it's another opportunity for us to win. Yep.
Kawhi, James was just in here and he was saying that you don't get the appreciation that you deserve for coming back time and time again from injuries. I know you don't particularly pay attention to what's said about you, but what does it mean to have teammates like him, teammates like everybody else in that locker room who do see the work that you put in every single day and appreciate it and are able to help you get back to have a game like you had tonight?
It was great. Like you said, anybody in the business, that's playing and knows how hard it is to either come back from injury or just even playing in the NBA. They understand, what we all go through, what I go through, and to see that from your peers and hear that from them is great. I told several people before, just thanks for helping me through stuff in time, with injuries.
And after game one, you mentioned that just the aggression was one of the things that stood out to you with the turnover issues that you had. Obviously, you came out really aggressive early in this game. How much of a point of emphasis was that, and how did you feel you were able to get to your spots and be aggressive?
I think I made shots tonight, shot a little bit more than I did last game, but it wasn't about that. You know what I mean? Some of my turnovers last game were just being aggressive and, trying to save the ball or getting rebounds, getting pushed out of bounds. So, the one that stuck out to me was this, obviously up one and getting it tipped off my hip, but it was just great defense by them. So I just wanted to come out and get a win.
Kawhi, when you're out there in a game like this, I think you made your first 6 shots, then you missed 1, then you made 6 more. I mean, were you aware that you were hit on that kind of a role, being that efficient out there?
I'll just keep playing, try to stay in the zone, no matter if I'm missing or making shots. Trying to go to the next play, and that's it. Just focused on the next play and trying to win, get to my spot and shoot, and just live with the outcome, whatever game it is, how good or bad it's going.
Kawhi, to your right, how much you've got this wealth of playoff experience? Like, you've had good games, you've had bad games. Like, how much do you reach back into what you've done to help prepare you for the things that you need to do in the current?
It's always a different situation for me. Next game isn't going to be like no other game. You know what I mean? It's what's in front of me, and that's what I'm approaching. All I know is that I've been there before. I've been here, and like I always say, as long as you're playing hard and having fun, you can live with the outcome. Just leaving it all on the floor, and that's what I take pride in.
Kawhi, how much energy does it take to play in these games? And I ask because late in that fourth quarter, after Norm hit the three, they called a timeout, and you didn't move. Looked like you were, tired, but you still came out and hit the big shot. How much does it take for all of you guys just to put forth the effort like this?
It's difficult. Like I said, playing here, playing against this great team, they got great players, know their role. And, any NBA game is very hard to play, especially in the playoffs. It might look easy, by just watching us and seeing how skilled we are, but these games are hard to play. You got to play every possession, every minute.
Kawhi, physically, how good a shape do you feel in right now? Like, do you feel the best you felt in years, the best you felt in 5 years? Like, where are you in relation to what you've been in the past?
I'm not sure. I'm just happy that I'm able to move, and I'm coming out the game feeling well, and that's what I'm taking my pride on, is just being healthy. I sat and watched these playoff games and series the past 2 years, so me able to be front line out there, it just feels good for me, no matter which way the game goes. That's what I'm taking pride in. I just want to be out there and play and be front line with my team.
Can you kind of take us through the final sequence where you guys get the ball back, don't call a timeout, and just try to get the ball up and get a three as quickly as possible.
I mean, it was good. I think it was good, like, especially in those situations. If you can advance the ball, I think that's the right call. Just because probably if we call a timeout, they had a foul to give. So are we gonna really have a lot of time? So I think we had a CB miss. Maybe I should give to Jamal. He had like a momentum, but in those situations it's really hard to think about it.
Nikola, tvoj 19. triple-double na playoffima, 26 poena, 12 skokova, asistencija, ali ovoga puta, evo, nažalost, nadali smo se, bili stalno blizu pobedi, na kraju nije bio.
Jeste, stvarno teška utakmica. Mislim da je prava play-off utakmica bila kao i prva utakmica, tako da nismo u nekim momentima smo imali tako neke, da kažem, glupave greške, gde i oni su to kaznili na da li je trojka, da li je neki faul bio koš, tako da zanimljiva utakmica, ali eto, nismo uspjeli ovaj put da pobedimo.
Nikola, večeras navikli ste nas na jako efikasnu igru u klaču posljednjih godina. Večeras su Clippersi bili uspešniji, su li više problema napravili u odbrani ili u napadu u završnim minutima?
Pa, oni su opet dali 105 poena za takvu neku ekipu što imaju takav arsenal ofanzivni. Mislim da smo koliko toliko, eto, Kawhi odigrao stvarno jednu fenomenalnu utakmicu, što jeste, on je stvarno super zvezda. Ali eto, mi nismo uspjeli način i nekako i kad smo imali otvorene šuteve nismo ih uzeli, izgubili smo lopte. Tako je neka bila čudna detalji neki koji nismo uspjeli da uradimo, neke odluke koje smo svi, pogotovo ja, promašen, pa imali smo 4, ja sam promašio 2, Ras promašio 1, Mike promašio 1 bacanje u nekim bitnim momentima. Puno takih nekih detalja koje je naotišlo na njihovu stranu.
Sorry if they asked this in Serbian, but you guys had 20 turnovers. Is that more?
They didn't ask that.
Is that more? So is that more what they were doing defensively, or on you guys just for not being able to work around?
I mean, they had 20 last game, so it was, I had a lot, especially at late. I had to throw it to Kawhi basically, and then throw it to Peyton like a lob, which was bad. They were definitely aggressive. They were attacking us. They were attacking the ball. They even pre-rotate. They attacked the ball. So they were definitely aggressive in those moments when they kind of rotate and scramble around.
Nikola, how much does the mindset change leaving here tied 1-1 instead of being up 2-0?
I mean, I think we could be down 2-0 so too, and I think we can be up 2-0. So I think it's a great 2-game. We had a great 2-game, whatever his name. I think the fans. I think if you're a basketball fan, I think this is probably the best basketball you can watch. It's both ends, like even mistakes, even big plays. Like Kawhi had an amazing game. You have an amazing game by a player. I think that we had a really good 2 games. And if you're a basketball fan, I think it's a pleasure to watch.
There was the sequence in the fourth quarter where the shot clock reset. It looked like you turned around and kind of rushed that shot up.
I saw Jamal was like shoot, but he was like calm down. So it's a misunderstanding. I saw Jamal like telling me to calm down, but I thought shoot it. So misunderstanding even in that situation, like details, like I said.
And then real quick, you didn't start the game with the sleeve on your elbow. I'm pretty sure, was that just the right elbow bothering you a little bit?
No, I fall down. I was a little cushion when I bumped with the zoo.
Nikola, you were saying how much respect you have for Kawhi last game. How did he get going tonight, and what type of things can you guys try to do next game to slow him down a little bit?
I mean, he had. I think that he had a night. It's really hard. Maybe we should just make him feel more crowded. But I think he's so used to it. He did make tough shots, but are they really tough shots for him? The guy who is making those for such a long period of time. So maybe we just need to do a little bit more different. make him just hesitate a little bit more. Let's say like that.
Here, they were saying that the Clippers were saying that they want to just throw different looks at you, just kind of maybe they're not going to stop you, but they're going to try to just confuse you a little bit. What were they doing differently maybe than they did in Game 1?
I think they're not doing like they are doing different in the pick and roll with Jamal. They are sending third body, they are not sending third, so they are switching. They have a personnel for that. I think they have a lot of length, a lot of athleticism. They can do a lot of things, and that's why they're so dangerous team. They can do a bunch of things defensively.
Nikola, you said such a good series, such a tough matchup every game. So at the end of the day, what do you think it'll come down to?
Like details, like I said, turnover, foul if you can, foul guy who doesn't have a high percentage shot, stop the break with a foul. I think especially in those like 100 points for NBA is like, let's say, not a lot of points, but I think in those moments, those details matters, and being locked in and 50-50 ball, like something that little small details.
What's your confidence that you guys can do that?
I mean, we did it the first game, so we didn't do the second game. So, I think that's why it's an interesting series.
Nikola, what's some of the balance for you offensively going forward, having 2 games of data on, kind of how they've guarded you and thrown bodies at you?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I think they're not doing anything differently, just more aggressively, So. I need to adjust. I need to, it's a game to game. It's different. It's different. Sometimes different guys. Sometimes different angles. Sometimes they're coming when I don't see it behind the back. So it's it's a read react, let's say, situation.
MPJ blamed himself for the loss because that turnover that led to the Powell 3, what he heard. What is your reaction to that, him feeling like he was responsible for the loss?
I mean, we can all say that. I mean, CB can blame himself for missing 3. I can blame myself for a turnover. It's I think it's just we can all blame each other, blame ourselves. So I don't know, is it a good thing or a bad thing? So, but probably we care, so that's a good thing.
How do the challenges of a 7-game series still excite you?
I mean, it's just because, like I said, I think those two I really enjoyed, and in those games, it's really a pleasure to play in really important moments, important games. So minutes, whatever it is, So I think this is why you play.
Nikola, I saw you chase down Christian leaving the locker room. I guess, can you share anything about that, or what do you say to a young guy who misses a big shot like that?
I did what?
You went and Christian was walking out of the locker room. You yelled at him to hang out for a second.
We didn't talk about that.
Well, then, anything, I guess, do you feel like you need to lift him up after a moment like that, being a young guy?
I mean, I don't know. I think you should shoot those shots. It's part of basketball, and he made a big one last what's the name? Last game. So you gotta shoot it. Sometimes you miss, sometimes you make. Thank you guys. Pleasure, always.